It's October 28th, 2014. The fifth Republican president of the country of Zambia has just died. He was supposed to save office until 2016. Due to the fact that Guy Scott, the vice president of Zambia at the time, was of Scottish origin and was white, he was not allowed to sit as the Republican president and could only sit temporarily for 3 months before someone else was elected. So it went to an amendment and a referendum. If the Zambian people had decided that he could run as president, then he could potentially be the next Republican president of the country of Zambia. But to most people, that just didn't sit right. It sounded a little too much like colonization part 2. Zambia did like Guy Scott. He was Zambian and even had citizenship, but him being president was a little too much. So throughout 2015 till he was officially elected in 2016, Edgar Chagwa Lungu became the next Republican president of the country of Zambia. Zambians were happy. The late Michael Chilufya-Sato's goals could be continued through PF with this man now in power. But it was a close call. He was nearly beat by his opponent Hakainde Hichilema to become president. Not too far after he was elected, the Zambian people quickly started noticing a sudden but very close partnership was started building between Zambia and China. At first, the trend didn't catch too many eyes, but quickly as time passed, people started noticing more and more stories being written about Zambia and China's relationship. But this wasn't China's first visit into the country of Zambia. China is actually the country responsible for the build of the Zambia-Tanzania Railway, or Tazara. But this was just for a project. The second entrance of China into Zambia felt a little bit different. On the Copperbelt province, most of the mines and the exports were between Zambia and many European countries such as Switzerland. Soon after Edgar Lungu was in power, all these mines were given to Chinese ownership and were being controlled by the Chinese. Zambia's mineral industry was now officially being controlled by China.
The hard work actually.
Chinese immigration into Zambia soon after quickly increased, with more of the farming industry also being taken over by Chinese farmers. Very large pieces of land was being given to Chinese farmers to cultivate. And quickly, the Chinese people started well incorporated into the society of Zambia, with Zambians now starting to intermarry with Chinese people. And Zambia's love affair with China quickly kept on increasing. Zambian students also started getting clearance for internship, university, and jobs in China. Back in Zambia up to this point, things were quite good. The economy to people seemed to be running pretty smoothly. A lot of very good infrastructure started being seen pop up in many Zambian cities, especially in Lusaka and in the Copperbelt. Things were quite solid, with a lot of people starting getting jobs at Chinese firms, companies, mines, and farms. And for people who had good ties with the government, the money just kept on increasing. Echet still watched and felt cheated for the elections in 2016. Regardless, Zambia-China bromance started growing by the day. And to people, well, as long as they saw development, supporting points being Zambia and Chinese relationship brought more development to Zambia than Zambia's relationship with the West did.
We needed investors to come and invest, and the people to knock on the door first were the Chinese.
I think they identified the resource, and Zambia has it in abundance, and so they devised strategies to come and extract this resource.
当时对这个市场啊，对这个政治呀，对这个环境也都不熟悉哈。我在暂边就是名副其实的白手起家，可以说在华人圈里面。
Edgar Lungu devised a brilliant plan. Using Zambia's thirst for development against, he made sure that Zambia's relationship with the Bank of China also grew, borrowing large sums of money to fund development.
Video, we are discussing load shedding. This will explaining why we experience so much load shedding is when they said the Kariba Dam was not full because there was no water. But dude, this season we had enough rain.
Enough rain, like for real.
Yeah.
We provide enough rains.
Yeah. Are they telling me
Was the Kariba Dam not yet full? From 2016 to 2020, Zambia experienced the most brutal load shedding schedules it had ever gone through. But the buildings kept popping up, cause he knew that as long as Zambia seen buildings popping up with really good infrastructure, they would justify everything. To do with the large sums of money he was borrowing from the Bank of China. To pay up some of the money Zambia owed China, This money started being paid up in form of
The
energy.
amount of money that Zambia owes Chinese lenders is nearly double what the Zambian government had previously admitted. According to credit ratings firm S&P Global, Zambia spends at least 30% of its income on interest payments alone.
This became a little too much and people started going out and protesting. But who do the Zambian people think they are? They are just citizens. And topped off with a cherry on top of capitalism, people absolutely hated the entire law enforcement was under the president. All people in major positions were bought up and were on the side of the president. But the stubborn Zambians did not stop. Neither did they listen. They kept going out and protesting for the jobs that they were promised but did not get, and a bunch of things that the president had promised but did not deliver. The Zambian army was unleashed on its own citizens.
We are really suffering. All these people, they are busy cheating us.
They don't care about us being safe. They don't do that for us.
Dangerous, too much dangerous.
如果吸的尘太多的话，就要喝一点牛奶，这是让他们自己体质。
There's no doubt that the people feel China is colonizing.
The reality now is that you are safer being Chinese in Zambia.
Hashtag Chambia started trending and people did not like it. So they booted him out and voted in his biggest rival, whom he nearly beat back in 2016, whom by far beat him by 1 million votes in comparison. This new Zambian president needed to answer one very important question. Will he continue the very serious relationship with Zambia and China? And boy did he answer it. Just a few days after being sworn in as president, he became the first Zambian sitting president to be invited to the White House in Washington, USA since 1992. This sent a very clear message to all Zambians. Zambia's relationship with China was officially over, and it was clear that Zambia will now be working in partnership with the USA's allies. But his incredibleness did not stop with just meeting Joe Biden. A few weeks after this, he gave a speech at the UN. The brutality against the Zambians by the Chinese was officially over with the scrapping out of PF in power. It was a new age for the people of the country, and HH was at the head center.
A lot of nurses, new government, they have to look after them.
Hichilema will inherit a very difficult economic situation. His predecessor has been heavily criticized for borrowing too much money from China to finance major infrastructure works. So much money.
The new Zambian president further flexed his influence by heading on to the EU and forming up a relationship that was almost dead during the Edgar Lungu era, doing this to further Zambia's relationship with the European countries, and eager to increase the presence of Zambian products in the European countries, such as by the trading giant tycoon Trade Kings. He decided to not cancel all the major ongoing profits set by the previous president Edgar Chagolung, such as the building of the Copper Belt International Airport and the Kenneth Kaunda International. One being in Ndola in the Copperbelt province and the other in Lusaka province. Other major ongoing projects such as Lusaka's mall craze and the building of filling stations also kept running, and the new airports increasing Zambia's international influence in Southern Africa and beyond. If there is one major thing which could be pointed out that President Hichilema has learned from watching Edgar Lungu in power is that Zambia love infrastructure, and they like seeing beautiful major big things popping out every now and then. The building of new things and bringing good things Zambians see internationally to the country will always guarantee you being re-elected. This has been the relationship of Zambia's relationship with China and relationship with Europe and America.